A 150-year anniversary is a rarity in the Diocese of Springfield. In fact, it's older than the diocese itself. But recently here in the village of Haydenville, this milestone was celebrated here in the Church of St. Mary of the Assumption at Our Lady of the Hills Parish. Steve Kiltonic has the story now behind the church that has been around since the Reconstruction. That's the period just after the Civil War.
The first immigrants who came in the mid-1800s to the village of Haydenville, a section of Williamsburg, were primarily of Irish descent. They were quickly followed by the French Canadians and the Polish. These hard-working Europeans came mainly to work in the brass, cotton, silk, and button industries, the factories of which were owned mainly by the Hayden family. Their dream to worship in their own church became reality when the Hayden family donated a piece of land for a church to be built. Bev Thomas, the parish's unofficial historian, who recently compiled a book, Our Church, Our History, 1868 to 2018, can trace her family roots back to the early days of St. Mary of the Assumption Church.
My ancestors came down from Quebec and settled here. They all worked in the mills, mainly the brass shop. And my great-grandfather was there, my grandfather, my father.
Bishop John Williams of Boston dedicated the Gothic-style church at a high mass on August 16, 1868. It was concelebrated with Father Patrick Moyse of Northampton and other area priests. The Springfield Republican newspaper noted that on the day of the dedication, a special train would pick up people from Northampton and East Hampton and bring them to the Haydenville train depot. From here, there was a short walk to the service. It was a very big occasion.
1,500 to 2,000 people came here.
The Republican newspaper stated the spire is peculiarly graceful and beautiful, and as such, the church makes a fine appearance. For a century and a half, that spire has withstood countless hurricanes and blizzards. It also survived the village's biggest disaster. On May 16, 1874, a dam built on the Mill River broke, sending 600 million gallons of water and debris downstream, wiping out 4 towns in 1 hour. Many factories were swept away and 145 lives were lost, many from St. Mary's. The church was spared only because it was elevated and far enough away from the river to avoid the deluge. The church's colorful 150-year history was celebrated June 9th. Springfield Bishop Mitchell T. Rosansky concelebrated Mass with the pastor, Father Richard Bondi, as well as former pastors, Monsignor Ronald Yargeau, Father Donald LaPointe, Father Lionel Bonneville, and former St. Catherine of Alexandria pastor, Father Vincent O'Connor. In his homily, Bishop Rosansky praised the church ancestors, who brought with them a steadfast faith.
And they wanted to give that faith, certainly, meaning and rootedness. And in doing so, we're able to build this beautiful church.
Thomas's book includes the history of St. Mary of the Assumption, St. Catherine of Alexandria in nearby Leeds, and Our Lady of the Hills, which was the new name assigned in 2007 to the merged parishes. The stained glass windows and several statues are original to the church, as well as the Redemptorist cross, which was brought down from Quebec. During its long history, countless baptisms, confirmations, marriages, and funerals have taken place at Our Lady of the Hills. 24 priests have served as pastors, each leaving their own indelible mark on the parish. The much-beloved Father William Smith oversaw major renovations of the church and basement, which became a parish hall. And Bishop Leo O'Neill was pastor here for nearly 10 years. Tim Meehan's ancestors from County Tipperary, Ireland, go back to the Civil War era.
We sold the plot of land to the church for their cemetery. And all through the years, we've been tied very closely to the parish because they used to buy their chicken and eggs from us on the farm down there.
After Meehan's parents married, the family moved to a house across the street from the church.
And the priest I remember many, many times over at the house. But on a sad note too, the house next door to us burned down and 2 girls were killed in it while their mother was over here at morning mass. But there was a definite closeness with everybody in the parish back then. And the church would be full. 8:30 mass would be full, 10:30 mass would be full.
Linda Rowley is another lifelong parishioner whose great-grandparents settled in Haydenville before the turn of the century. Rowley, along with her parents and grandparents, were all baptized in the church.
This parish to me is home. It's just home.
To Rowley, a product of the 1950s, Father William Smith was the priest she was most fond of.
He was funny, he was fun. He took us on all kinds of trips, hiking, movies. Actually, he took us to see the original Fly. He would just squash all the kids into his old station wagon, no seat belts, and off we would go.
For Bernie Bachand, it's all about family.
It's just a family parish, really, you know, and everybody gets involved with everybody else. Everybody knows everybody else's name, and they greet each other.
Monsignor Yarja was pastor for 9 years during the 1990s.
When one family is joyful, they're all joyful. When one family is in sorrow, they're all right there. Families, I believe, have always been a hallmark over these 150 years here in Haydenville.
Today, Father Bondi, who can often be seen with Angel, his golden retriever, carries on the tradition of faithfully serving Our Lady of the Hills parishioners. After the anniversary Mass, a celebration banquet was held for parishioners downstairs in the church hall. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.